The fortress on Crest was built to survive anything. It had survived solar storms. It had survived rebellion. It had survived 3 wars. But it had never survived silence. The silence came first. It crept into the command chamber after the last alarm died. It filled the space where officers had stood moments earlier. The smoke still curled in the air. The holographic war tables flickered and glitched like they were confused about who to obey. Queen Savara stood alone. Her crown was tilted slightly. Not because she was weak. Because the blast had shaken everything. Her long silver ears twitched at the fading echoes of boots running away. Running. Her royal guard. Her generals. Her protectors. They had withdrawn with perfect discipline. Without her. The blast doors sealed behind them. Savara did not shout. She did not beg. She simply stood there, feeling the weight of the truth settle inside her chest. They had followed doctrine. Preserve command. Retreat. Regroup. The Queen was expendable. The war was not. A low explosion shook the outer wall. Dust rained down. And that was when she noticed him. Declan Ward. Human. Mercenary. Contract expired 12 hours ago. He leaned against a cracked support pillar, tapping the side of his rifle like it had personally offended him. He looked at her. Raised 2 fingers casually. Well, he said, either I missed the evacuation memo, or this is the part where we die heroically. Savara stared at him. You are still here. Regrettably, he replied. But leaving felt rude. Another explosion. Closer this time. The enemy was breaching. You should go, she said calmly. That would be rational. Declan looked toward the corridor where enemy energy signatures were flashing on his wrist display. I've tried rational, he said. Didn't enjoy it. The first enemy unit emerged from smoke, tall, angular, armored in shifting black metal. Declan stepped forward without hesitation. Placed himself between Savara and the breach. Stay behind me, he said. No offense, but you look expensive. And then he opened fire. The fighting was brutal and fast. Declan's rifle jammed twice. He swore at it both times. Savara watched him move, imperfect stance, slightly off balance, wounded already. But he did not retreat. He did not calculate escape. He stood. Each shot bought seconds. Each second meant survival. When the corridor finally fell quiet, Declan lowered his rifle slowly. Good news, he said, breathing hard. They're discouraged. He looked around at the broken chamber. Bad news. We're trapped. Savara studied him. Why did you remain? She asked softly. Declan shrugged. Someone had to. That answer stayed in the air. Not oath. Not duty. Not politics. Choice. The fortress groaned again. They moved through emergency corridors as the structure began to fail piece by piece. Declan was bleeding. He pretended not to be. You are injured, Savara said. Minor disagreement with physics, he replied. She found an abandoned operations room and sealed the doors. Enemy scans brushed past them like cold fingers against glass. Savara activated a med unit and knelt beside him. Remain still. Careful, he said weakly. Last time someone said that, I lost a kidney. She ignored him and began sealing internal damage with medfoam. He watched her carefully. You fix things yourself, he said. I am trained, she replied. Yeah, he said quietly. Leaders who fix things themselves, people trust those. That struck deeper than any explosion. Outside, the war raged. Inside, something small began to change. The enemy changed tactics. Savara felt it before the scanners confirmed it. They are deploying phase units, she said. Translation. Declan asked. They will walk through walls. He sighed. Rude. The first unit emerged halfway through a bulkhead. Declan fired. The shot passed through. Savara slammed her hand onto a tactical node in the floor. Gravity shifted violently. The phase unit was thrown sideways into solid matter mid-transition. It shattered. Declan blinked at her. You can do that. I am the Queen, she said. I was never taught when not to. They fought together. Not queen and mercenary. Not ruler and hired gun. Two survivors. Savara rerouted ancient defense systems. Turrets unfolded from walls. Energy shields flickered back to life. Declan gave them names as they activated. That one's brave retreat. That one's strategic withdrawal. Savara laughed. Actually laughed. It felt strange. Free. More enemies came. Declan staggered once. Savara caught him and held him upright while firing with her other hand. You should be behind me, he muttered. No, she said firmly. Beside. They held the line. Together. Until the final wave withdrew. Rescue did not arrive loudly. It arrived carefully. Friendly fleet signatures appeared in orbit. The invasion began to break apart. Savara lowered her weapon slowly. Declan slumped against a wall. Good news, he said faintly. Your people remembered you exist. Royal forces breached the inner corridor minutes later. They saw burned walls, improvised defenses, a human mercenary standing beside their queen. Embarrassment spread across their faces. Reports began immediately. Strategic retreat. Necessary loss. Tactical regrouping. Savara listened. Then she said only one thing. You left. Silence. She turned slightly. He did not. No one spoke after that. Declan tried to say something sarcastic. Medics sedated him mid-sentence. Days later. Aboard the flagship. The war for Crest stabilized. The narrative was already being reshaped. Savara stood before her court. Declan Ward was brought forward, healed, uncomfortable, wearing borrowed formal attire that did not fit. An advisor stepped forward. The human mercenary is released from obligation. Savara raised her hand. No. The chamber froze. She stepped down from her throne. Stood before Declan. You chose to remain when duty did not require it, she said calmly. I was protected by will, not contract. She met his eyes directly. I will not command you. I will ask. The court shifted uncomfortably. Stay, she said. Not as guard. Not as property of the crown. Stay because you choose to. Declan was silent for a long moment. I was planning to retire, he said finally. Grow something that doesn't shoot back. A pause. He looked around the chamber. But this seems interesting. He nodded once. The court erupted in whispers. Savara did not smile. But something inside her settled. Weeks later, the fleet returned home. Savara stood by the viewport, watching stars stretch into long lines. Declan stood beside her. Arms crossed. What happens now? He asked. Savara thought of the fortress. Of the silence. Of abandonment. Of a single human who stood anyway. Now, she said quietly, we rebuild differently. No more perfect walls that hide fear. No more doctrine that sacrifices loyalty. No more crowns that stand alone. Declan nodded. Good, he said. I don't like running. She looked at him. Neither do I. Outside, the war slowly faded. Inside the ship, something stronger than war had formed. Not romance. Not politics. Something simpler. Chosen loyalty. And that was far more powerful.
Kofferraum und so weiter, da hast du manchmal keine Zeit zu, ne, nochmal in den Kofferraum zu gehen. Dann ballert man das. So, und hier über uns. Man soll halt zu dem Zeitpunkt aber gar nicht richtig gerafft, weil wir Sebastian gesucht haben. Da sieht man es ja aber. Und jetzt.
Resub, STURMJAGD-NRW-Herten- abonniert für 25 Monate. Nabend aus Deutschland, ihr Lieben, einen schönen Aufenthalt in den verrückten Staaten. Lasst krachen VLLT auch mal über EF4 Lul Maxilipet Petu Voiblitzans U Superzelle Maxilia im Log.
Also Dankeschön, Sturmjagd NRW.
Also letztlich ist es ja so, wenn Tornado sich schnell dreht, Dann hast du ja in der Mitte des Tornados.
Ist ja wieder das Auge und nichts los eigentlich.
Nee, aber es sinkt der Luftdruck.
Ja, genau.
Und sinkender Luftdruck bedeutet ja automatisch auch, dass das Gas, was sich ausströmt, also ausdehnt, also sprich die Atmosphäre, die sich ausdehnt, kühlt sich ja ab. Das heißt, im Innern des Tornados müsste es da ein bisschen kälter